Let's go to Sunday. Let's see who we can add to win the matchup, advance in the playoffs, do whatever we need to do, Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and if you'd listened to me, well, you wouldn't have sponsored that Mexican wrestler. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky, joshloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Also, check out LockedOnDaily.com. Sign up, get the best newsletter for your favorite NBA team. That is at LockedOnDaily.com, and it's free. It is delivered to your inbox 5 days a week, and you know what you're doing here. You subscribe, and you bang, and you're commenting. You bang again on the audio and the video side of things. It is today National Barbie Day. So get your Barbies out, dress them up, get your different varieties out. I don't know all the individual character names. They're all just generically called Barbies. But, you know, there's an array. Get them, make a tea party, whatever you need to do. Today's your day to celebrate. We are looking at Sunday in the NBA. We're going to take a look at some schedule stuff. We are talking about a day where there are 8 games on. We are talking about a day where there is an early one. It starts at 1 p.m. Eastern. Now, we are getting to the stage. I don't think we're there yet, but we're getting to the stage where daylight savings is going to kick in / stop over here. So I'm going to have to adjust my timeframes. I need to double check that, actually. When does that actually stop for you guys? Oh, sorry. I mean, when does it actually start for you guys? I realize it's today. It's this day. It's Sunday. Okay, I need to make my adjustments to figure that out. All right. So to me then, when I look at this, that means that this game starts at 2 p.m. Eastern? Is that right? I think it's a 2 p.m. Eastern start. Nuggets and Thunder, which is what? Midday Central. Yeah, that's midday Central. That sounds right. So there you go. Daylight saving for the US kicks in tomorrow. Lucky I knew that. Lucky I looked that up because I need to make all my adjustments for my time zone ideas in my head. And also the times that I start work, which is a W for me, I guess. All right, let's, you know what? I need to double check that. Again, I need to check again. Now I'm even more confused. It's saying it's 1 p.m. Eastern. Is that right? It's a 1 p.m. Eastern start? Surely not. So what does that mean for Oklahoma City time? Oh, no, it's Central, isn't it? So it is. No, that's right. It's midday. I am right. Bloody hell. What a confusion that is. 1 p.m. Eastern, first game tips off tomorrow. Bloody hell. 8 games on. So there are a bunch of early ones. So be ready for that. Let's look at some more schedule-based stuff. There are 3 teams that play Saturday into Sunday on the back-to-back. The Pistons, the Bucks, and the Pelicans. We've got to watch the rests of the Pelicans on Sunday. We already know that Bruce Brown is out on Saturday, but Olynyk, Zion, and CJ, do they all sit out on Sunday? Is Olynyk now playing back-to-backs? Don't know. The Bucks, you got to watch for Damian Lillard, and you got to watch for Giannis. And then I think the Pistons will be pretty safe. I'm not going to do Sunday, Monday back-to-backs because there's 12 games on Monday, so what's the point? You're not probably using that guy anyway. But who plays Sunday, Tuesday? Get yourself an extra leg up into the next week. Cavs, Pistons, Clippers, Bucks, and Pelicans all play Sunday and Tuesday. And you'll notice that the Pistons, the Bucks, and the Pelicans go Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, 3 games, 4 nights, avoiding a 12-game day. Pretty interesting. And the Clippers, mind you, go Sunday, avoid Monday, and then play Tuesday, Wednesday. So those 4 teams, Pistons, Clippers, Bucks, Pelicans, elite little schedule run for them, avoiding that Monday and doing 3 games in 4 nights. So really strong value for those teams at that time or at this time of the week. If you go chunky here, we go 5 games. Who's got 3 games in 5 nights, excluding Monday? They've got 6 players here who are available in a lot of spots. A lot of those teams I just mentioned, Chris Dunn, Jose Alvarado, Karlo Matkovic, Yves Missi, Isaiah Stewart, and Nicola Batum. I don't know if Batum's going to be as good as he was in that last game. He was ridiculously good. He started over Derek Jones. He played huge minutes, and there is a Clippers back-to-back, so Kawhi's going to sit one of them. So he's a little bit more interesting for us now, Batum, I think, and I think there's a little bit of random outlier in that. But I can't fully ignore it. interestingly, starting on Sunday, when we talk 5s and 2s, we've all hyped up the Brooklyn Nets having a 5-game week. There are 3 teams with a 5-game in 7-night period starting on Sunday. The Nuggets, the Grizzlies, and the Spurs. Now, that might be bad news for someone, say, Ja Morant, who's constantly injured, or Santi Aldama, who's back out again, or the Spurs, who are going absolutely nowhere. But 5 games, 7 nights for those 3 teams beginning on Sunday. So you just got to be aware of that and just check for either decreased performances or guys sitting out. There's 4 main key injury statuses that we need to pay attention to. Dante Exum, because he started a point guard last game. Rudy Gobert, who could be returning finally. Denny Avdia, who is questionable in Portland. And the other one is Malik Monk, who I think is questionable as well. We've got a bunch of guys ruled out. You'll be shocked to know that in the Utah versus Philadelphia game, Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, Jordan Clarkson, John Collins, Walker Kessler, Lowry Markin, and Colin Sexton all ruled out. So this week, I suggested that the Jazz players, those main 5, would play 1 game. And I was right, except for one thing, where Sexton and Kessler played a random game sprinkled in against bad teams. They play a bunch of good teams next week, so be interesting to see whether Collins and Markkanen are miraculously healed. If they're not playing in those games, then you can just drop them. Because this is the pattern the Jazz do, is they just don't tell you anything, and eventually just goes weeks and Lowry's not there, and then he comes back and plays half a game and he's done. So this was the likelihood of these guys sitting all of this week was like 95%, and it played out that way. I also believe that Tyrese Maxey is going to be a real struggle to get back. Same with Paul George, but no one's telling us anything specific with that. He already intimated that, not intimated, I said it. Santi Aldama is ruled out for the Grizzlies after he came back in 1 game and played 21 minutes. Toby Harris is probable, so he should be returning. And then you've got just to see whether the Bucks rest guys, Yanni and Dame, in that game against Cleveland, which I don't think they will. So we'll keep an eye on that, but I don't think so. We'll come back and talk streamers. But today's episode, it is brought to you by the swooshing legends themselves, DoorDash. Because right now this season, if they swoosh, you save. Not they as in DoorDash, they as in NBA players. Because thanks to Dash Pass, every time a player drops 50 or more points in a game, you score a huge deal the next day. When any player during the 24-25 NBA regular season scores 50 points in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order, up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. Late night cravings? Dash Pass and the swooshing will get you there. Maybe you want lunch on the go. Well, the swooshes, they'll get you there as well. What about fueling your watch party? Well, just need an NBA player to start swooshing. And you can get that 50% off discount. So sign up for Dash Pass and be ready to save. When any player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order the next day, up to $10 off. Just use the promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders of participating merchants. You must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. I can't figure out if that DoorDash catchphrase / read is one of the dumbest things I've seen. Shout out to DoorDash, it's a great deal. Or some of the most absolute genius marketing of all time. Because now you know what happens? Every time someone scores a 50-point game, I'm ready to say, yeah, they swooshed. Which, of course, is not something you would ever say if you've ever watched a basketball game in your life. Oh, those players are out there swooshing. No one would ever say that, ever. But now, if someone drops a 50, hey, they swoosh, let's use the code DashPass. It is brilliant marketing that I'll say it's intentional because they're legends over at DoorDash. I think that's what it is. Swoosh. Let's do streaming. Start with points leagues. We're trying to win the week, of course. So we'll start with some Yahoo points stream options for us. Brandon Williams. Still have no idea what to make of this. Not that he can't put up numbers. We saw him do it in Portland. He is a very streaky shooter, and he's had some incredibly good shooting games the first 2 games. Played a lot of minutes. And he's going to play minutes. They're still banged up. There's still no PJ Washington. Dante Exum may or may not play. Omax Prosper is out for the season. But the problem remains that Williams has 9 games left. And no, I know he's not on a 10-day contract. Yes, I know he's on a 2-way contract. Yes, I know he hasn't played 41 games. That is because it's active for 50 games, not playing 50 games. And no, they can't convert him to a full contract until April the 10th, because they are the common questions that we get about that. And rightfully so, it is a confusing system. So, again, they can play him 9 more games. Do they play 9 in a row? Does he play 3? Does he sit out? I don't know. But it is going to be the case where Brandon Williams, you're going to use him, you're going to consider him, and he's not going to be there. That will happen. I don't know when. You hope it happens in that 2-game week where you wouldn't use him anyway, which is the week after. But I don't know. I'm just telling you what's going to happen. Kai Jones are also ruled out for that team. Max Christie has been really quite bad, but you've got to sometimes just give faith to hey, look at the minutes. The shot attempts are fine. There will be a game where they go in. Not at 30%, but at 50 or even 45 will take. That'll happen. And the role and the usage and the minutes are all pretty strong. So that should turn into something solid enough. I got Brandon Clark and Vince Williams in Memphis. We know there's no Jaren Jackson Jr., who allegedly 2 days after having a grade 2 ankle sprain, is out walking around the court taking shots because this team has no idea what grades 1, 2, or 3 mean, apparently. So I got no idea what that means for Jaren. Remember last year, Desmond Bane was back playing in a tanking season on a grade 3 ankle sprain in 2 months. Brandon Clark and Vince Williams are the streams on Sunday. And then we go to Utah with everybody out. Bryce Sensabaugh. That's what he does. Him and John Juzang are going to take a lot of shots, starting next to Collier, starting next to Filipowski, and probably KJ Martin. And the last one is Karlo Matkovic, because I'm under the impression, I don't know this, but I'm under the impression that Zion, CJ, and Kelly Olynyk could all sit on Sunday. I'm very certain Zion will sit. The other two, I don't know. But I'm going to put that out there as an opportunity for us to use him. On ESPN points, the list is relatively similar. We do start again with Brandon Williams. We have Max Christie, Spencer Dinwiddie, Brandon Clark. Now, Dinwiddie, again, moved to the bench, but still playing 31 minutes. And had two... He's fully cooked, Dinwiddie. Don't stress about that. He's bad. He's been bad for years. But at times, if you just stay on an NBA court, you get numbers. And you'll get so many examples of that throughout this period of the season, especially as we head towards March 20th and onwards. You'll just see guys going... Wow, what a game. And it's why I think that a lot of stats you see post-All-Star break, especially late March, April, that might further a narrative that you have or somebody else has that needs to be taken very cautiously. A, because of the quality of opponents, and B, sometimes numbers just need to be put up. And I know I'll sound like a hater, but like Steph Castle's putting up good scoring numbers because he's playing 33 usage a night. Wemby's out. They're just feeding everything to him on a good team. And when the team is being serious about a game plan, I don't think that's a realistic thing. But the numbers will jump so high that it'll make him win the Rookie of the Year almost certainly. But is that role of him as a 35 usage player ever going to be something that happens? Almost definitely not. So just with those sort of games, you've got to be very cautious about, hey, what happened at the end of the season? Did Jacoby Walter have a run of 20-point scoring games, although he got hurt yesterday too? Maybe. Does it mean anything? Probably not. So just be cautious with that stuff. ESPN points. So after Dinwiddie, what I was saying, Dinwiddie, he's bad, yeah, but sometimes just being on the court, you'll just trip Dick first into a rebound or 3 assists and a shot will go in at some point. Brandon Clark is there as well. Bryce Sensabaugh is there, and Vince Williams is there also as good opportunity players available in a lot of different spots who can get you enough points for it to make a little bit of sense. If we look at category league streaming, and we stream in the points category at first, Brandon Williams, heard that name before? This, of course, all this Brandon Williams double backhand glazing could turn into nothing because they say, hey, he's a DMP CD preserving contract days. Totally possible. Totally possible. No idea if they will. They have to. At some point, it has to happen. It has to happen. I just don't know when. It would seem unlikely to happen here, but just be ready for it. So when you get that notification, or if you get that notification, that doesn't kick you in the teeth and go, oh my God, how? It can happen. Literally a coin toss at any point that can happen. So Brandon Williams is there. Bryce Sensabaugh is there. Jordy Hawkins. John Juzang in Utah. Gregory Jackson II for Memphis. And then Vince Williams, who is almost certainly going to start with Santi Aldama out. And GG should play extra minutes there as well. So both GG and Vince, and then the extra run there for Brandon Clark is useful, though he's not really a points category stream option. For 3-pointers, you can scrape the bottom of the barrel here, but any of these guys can hit 6 easy. Johnny Juzang, Bryce Sensabaugh. Remember, everybody is out in Utah. You're playing a terrible team. Why won't they play 30-ish minutes? Jordy Hawkins, potentially no CJ or Zion. Big boom AJ Green. Now, he is a bit of a risky one, but this is all he does. He hits threes. Lou Dort. Everyone is back for Oklahoma City after they all rested the last game. They played Denver in that early game that I couldn't work out the time for. And then Royce O'Neal, who's only like a 21, 22-minute-a-night player. It could be 37, could be 13. They're sort of just mixing and matching every 5 minutes, the Suns. But Royce is at least the Basmati man. He's at least there as a 3-point stream option. And even Grayson Allen as well as an option for you. Today's episode is also brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, and we are in March, so that means that we need to get mad because March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on that action like never before right now. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That is $200 extra bucks to use on anything, everything, buzzer beaters, Cinderella stories, even picking who you think is going to cut down the nets. Who do you think is going to win? Do you think it's going to be Directional State? What about Backwater A&M? What about Big City College? Any of those teams a chance? I'm not sure. You can check the odds over at FanDuel, bet all of that, individual games, tournament winners, all that stuff. So go to FanDuel.com right now and you can get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. And don't forget to gamble responsibly. All right, let's now look at some assist stream guys. Of course, guess who's on the top? It's the big man himself, Brandon Willow Williams. Followed by Mike Conley, Jose Alvarado. Interestingly, they started Conley over DiVincenzo. I don't know why. DiVincenzo's playing 31 minutes still, but interesting little departure from what they were doing before the injury. DiVincenzo's still got the minutes, but just interesting. Alvarado, Vince Williams, Dennis Schroeder, and Tyus Jones. Now, it'll be very interesting to see Schroeder's minutes with Tobias Harris back, because he had a little bit of a bump before that, and checking Asar as well. And then Tyus Jones, who, this is what he does, but he's only probably going to play 18 minutes, but no reason you can't just sneak a quick little 5 assists through from him in 19. It is possible. And assists, as we know, are not easy to get. Steals are, though. Lots of guys on the waiver wire who get you steals. Alex Caruso, Jose Alvarado, the Hong Kong Mattress, Carson Wallace, Brandon Willow Williams, Michael Conley Sr., and Justin Edwards, who is probably going to start in Philadelphia. The other one to look at there is Kessler Edwards, who's probably going to start in Dallas. And we're at the time of the year where we're talking about Brandon Williams, Justin Edwards, Kessler Edwards, and we're monitoring two-way days of guys like Kai Jones. That's where we're at. Stay up to date. Free throw percentage, we're looking at Bryce Sensabaugh. We're looking at Amir Coffey, Mike Conley, Geordie Hawkins. Amazingly, I have to suggest that Tim Hardaway could actually work for you. Jalen Wells also is a pretty good free throw percentage guy. He's an impossible guy to try and predict his production. It's 30 minutes with 17 points and 5 threes, or it's 18 minutes with 1 shot. But the free throw percentage for him is usually pretty good, and we know that he's going to start. If we move into some of the big man categories now and we look at rebounds, the cockroach Mason Plumlee, he's playing a lot. Both he and BDNR are doing better at the moment. They are at least stream options, nothing more than that. But Plumlee's getting like 20 plus minutes a night at the moment. So yeah, we're in. Brandon Clark, Karlo Matkovic, Bismack Biyombo, who went like 18, 18, 18, 30, 18 minutes. So figure that out. You can't. Just be aware that there is, just plan for 20. Get excited if you get 30. Isaiah Stewart as a backup to Duran. Stewart's got 18-minute floor, but if Duran gets in foul trouble at all, Stewart can push up. Of course, you're always at the risk of Isaiah Stewart punching someone in the nose and getting himself ejected in 5 seconds. So that's a risk too, I guess. And then the other one there is Kessler Edwards, who's probably going to have to start again for the Dallas Mavericks, another guy with those game limits. For blocks, I've got Karlo Matkovic. We go to Bismack Biyombo, Isaiah Stewart. Peyton Watson is back and played over 21 minutes last game. Bol continues to start, but he's playing he's getting the bogans. He's playing 6 minutes and doesn't come back, and then starts the next half and plays 6 minutes, and then he's done. So yeah, don't really get the point of that. And whether that continues or not, I'm not sure. But Bol can block shots, obviously. And then Brandon Clark is more going to get there through a little bit of extra volume versus being an elite block percentage player. The last category we look at is field goal percentage, and these names just repeat a bit here. Brandon Clark, KJ Martin, who's been putrid, but everybody's out, so maybe there's a chance. Bismack Biyombo, Mason Plumlee, Dwight Powell, and Karlo Matkovic. I didn't put Oscar Tshiebwe in the rebound stream, and he should be there, but at the moment, he's listed questionable with like G League assignment. I think he'll play. I think he'll be okay to go, but I don't put players with questionable tags in my list of streams just because obviously it's a 50-50 proposition as to whether they play. So I didn't put Tshiebwe there, but with everybody out, Tshiebwe could get double-digit boards in 20 minutes, backing up Kyle Filipowski. So if we know that he's available, fire up. The last thing I want to look at is the stream plan that, we're testing out the stream plan with this streaming study, and we had one slot available for a single Sunday stream, and I am going to take the risk. I am going to go with Brandon Williams as my stream on Sunday. Karlo Matkovic could be another option there. There are plenty of others. I've named about 50 different names throughout this show, but the guy I'm going to actually put into the test is Brandon Williams. He will be the 7th game that we get out of that slot, and we'll see how that compares to everything when we recap it all on Monday. And that is the end of this show. So make sure you are celebrating Barbie Day. Make sure you are getting your lineups ready. Make sure, unlike me, you can figure out what's going on with the time zone changes and the daylight saving changes and getting ready to put your lineups in the right spot. From what I can tell, everybody in Australia, that means that the game starts at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. start for us tomorrow. Hit the thumb on the video. What was I going to say? Yep, double bang, comment. You know where we're going. I am tired. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.